Bravely Default 2 won't make you rip your hair out, but there is a strategy element to the game that you must grasp in order to make it more bearable. True to the JRPG genre, you'll undoubtedly have to grind your way through some of the game's more difficult sections. Bravely Default 2 has 3 difficulty modes, although even the easy mode will be difficult for individuals who aren't used to RPGs. Regardless, many people thought it was worthwhile and quite suitable for a game that harkens back to the golden age of JRPGs. The challenging games are an homage to an older genre, which is a tendency on this list. Cyber Shadow is a challenging side-scrolling game inspired by Metroid, Mega Man, Ninja Gaiden and Castlevania. You're likely to hurl your controller in frustration, much like in those old games, due to the tremendous difficulty. The aesthetics are likewise a complete throwback to the 8-bit era, albeit the gameplay is considerably smoother and more up-to-date. This franchise is known for its high difficulty, and the 5th edition in the series maintains that tradition. It comes with different difficulty options, which makes it a little more approachable. Fans of the series will recognize the gameplay, but for many who have only heard of it because of its relationship to the Persona series, this will be their first time. Shin Megami Tensei 5 isn't the franchise's only challenging title scheduled for 2021. In the same year, the 3rd game was re-released, and it is considerably more difficult. Some would even argue that it goes too far. When it comes to challenging JRPGs this year, these 2 games will most likely suffice. Before Metroid Dread, it had been a long time since a decent 2D Metroid game had been released. On the Nintendo 3DS, a remake of Metroid 2 was released, however it did not earn as much appreciation as the other games in the series and was launched after the Nintendo Switch had already been released. The release of Metroid Dread was made all the more special because of this. It's not just a return to form for the franchise, but it also reinstates the series' original level of difficulty. Metroid Dread isn't a long game, but the difficulty will make it feel longer. Certain gamers will need a lot of tries to beat the bosses. The Binding of Isaac was released in 2011 and quickly became a hit in the game industry. Gamers who spent many hours in its universe loved the aesthetic, Zelda-like action, and roguelike structure. Along with multiple official editions, the modding community has kept the game alive all these years. The Binding of Isaac, Repentance, which is considerably more difficult than the main game, brought the plot to a proper finish in 2021. The expansion had a divisive reaction, with some claiming it did not live up to the original game's legacy. This game is a recreation of a beloved side-scrolling platformer known for its severe difficulty. Even by the standards of games released about the same time, Ghosts and Goblins is challenging. Thankfully, a few mechanics make the adventure a little easier than it was in the original release. After a certain number of fatalities, you can lessen the difficulty, and co-op means you can enlist the support of a friend. Even if they aren't interested in severe difficulty, those interested in retro gaming would be doing themselves a disservice by avoiding this remake. Bullet hell games like Resogun and Super Stardust have made Housemarque famous. Returnal is the studio's first AAA release, with a more substantial budget and scope. Even if the game has better graphics and a deeper story, it is still extremely difficult, possibly more so than anything else the developer has done. Because Returnal is a roguelike, dying brings you back to the start. The challenge also means that a single blunder might result in hours of development being lost. It's understandable if this feels oppressive, but fans like the structure and find it gratifying.
Thank you for watching the video. If you liked the video, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to the page.